Okay, right. So I'm recording now. Yeah. So what have you felt about it over the first couple of days, and then I can give you my perspective as well.
Yeah. As I say yesterday, felt like the draft process was a bit messy. Like everyone was talking most of the time over each other's. And yeah, I mean, sometime when we decide something, like for example, picking the jungle, like 10 seconds before the moment that we need to lock, I mainly want to hear my jungle. So I got his opinion rather than having, for example, I really like the energy that they bring, but sometimes no way is is really like bringing a lot of things.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, like I think that the thing that's really great about these guys is not only do they bring a lot from the individual, like their matchups kind of thing, but also they're really considering the same stuff that you would be in terms of the team. I mean, like Matty specifically is asking like a few times, okay, like who needs to engage, us or them, so we can build out how many tools we need and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just started sharing my screen. What I want to do is I want to watch back the drafts. But today I'd like to maybe try something a bit different, because especially as you're building out this tool for Fearless, I think for the first few drafts, I want to try it kind of, I think the best way to explain this, I want you to be talking more, but also it to be more about what the play is. So it's almost like we can try thinking about it as you speaking half as much or even less about champions, but twice as much about other stuff. So it's almost like if we're going through the draft, you create the box of like, okay, this is what we're looking for. Like these are the things that we're looking for. And then once someone suggested a pick that we're kind of happy with, you're also saying, okay, like we're going to do that. And they actually are the ones who fill it with all the information. So we'll listen to it and let me know what you think, actually. We'll listen to just this first one the whole way through. This is after the remakes and stuff like that, and we still weren't exactly sure about bans and stuff like that, but we'll just listen to it and then we'll discuss.
Varus is bug too, Woody? What is the Varus bug?
Good question.
I think it's
Did
just
you know we did a
left
project
flank
with every
happened.
single role and someone stole the name AD carry for you? He had top lane 5U, jungle 4U, etc.
Apparently Varus is banned
he's the
or
reason
bug too, by the way. Q does double damage almost always.
Wait, what's
it? That is a little bit.
Okay.
Every
I
time
didn't
he
notice
Qs, the
it
double
in,
damage comes as well.
As long as they are banning Shaco, do we keep like no banning?
There's mention on Kato stream?
Do we, yeah, I'm not sure about this
They,
ban system.
they did say we were going to do bans, but
Just open
Yeah.
ban again.
Okay,
We
yeah,
can like
ban
respond to
more,
their
yeah,
ban. I don't have like a...
Yeah.
Maybe they just do
Yeah,
last ban.
hear me out.
I mean, 4 or 5 bans are more important anyway, to be honest.
That's
yeah,
what
maybe
you say
that's what
until
they
we
meant.
first pick Scanner.
Okay, yeah, let's ban.
Yeah, Skarner is still open. Oof, we still one draft.
As you wish.
Dude, they bring in the heavy guns though. Vilya, Viego, game 1? What the fuck?
I think that champs are useless, honestly.
No,
That's what
I
you say
really
until
like
I see
Diego. I think
Vilya
he's
on
so
the-
fun and good.
Do you
I mean,
know, I
fun,
saw
yeah.
you play a lot of jungle. Do you play Viego?
Okay, so
Oh, wait.
again.
No, I don't play jungle. I have to.
sorry, we never got the Skarner, did we? So this is the wrong draft. This is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, they take out the scanner. It was the
Yeah.
moment where we say, okay, like let's ban all the bug
Yeah.
champs so no one can pick them.
Okay, so let's go back and do this one again then.
He as
sorry.
well.
Yeah.
I don't know how that. I'll do it on 1.5 times
Yeah, I don't know.
so that we're. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
so
definitely.
I do know Varus, which means you want to get rid of Ashe. Is a good.
I mean,
that's
or
the
just
best
play
one.
Ezreal. But
Yo, I just have
They
one
just need to
question.
ban it.
Maddie, did you feel
Just
that bug
let's get rid of
yesterday?
the shit. We ban Ashe, we ban Varus, and we ban Vel'Koz. And
no,
then
they should ban Skarner now. Like,
Yeah, but wait, but Maddie, did you feel that bug yesterday?
I didn't notice it.
Since you're Varus with bug?
I didn't see it either, to be honest.
I mean, I
okay,
didn't feel like I was doing more damage than normal. Like, I don't know. But to be fair, with one hit Varus, I'm normally pressing W. Like,
Just ban Varus, so there's.
Man,
Or
what am I
must get all
doing?
the bug champs away.
Wait, what am I doing?
Vel'Koz, and then
Vel'Koz and
and
Varus.
Varus. We just ban all the bug champs at
Yeah.
Ashe, so just like not the 80 T1
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to
mismatch
play
thingy.
to Kalista, Matty, if they pick it up?
first pick Kalista.
Depends
Yeah,
on
we can.
Yeah, I would first pick Kalista. You can ban
One
Varus.
Varus and one pick Kalista.
Yeah, guys, this is against plus Fortuna's Kero's team.
If I
Baus.
wasn't one picking it, then Kanan again.
It's
but
Baus,
worse
Villian,
on the other
Nemesis, Crowny,
side. And
Reckless.
okay. We could play
And
like Nemesis.
apparently there's a
So-
bug with both Varus and Vel'Koz, so that's why there was a ban. And we literally had God draft game 1,
This was
and we won the early game.
fine.
You're such a free win, man. I'm so sad for you.
We can also first pick Victor, right?
Yeah, also.
We just don't have that many good answers into Kalista either, I think.
Okay, then take it.
But yeah,
From
let's.
Lilliput.
I wanted to
from
try,
Lilliput.
so let's go.
So how do you like playing with
There's
Kalista? Do you want to play
some
dive
draft
comp?
sheet as well.
Yep.
Exactly.
How do you want to play with Kalista? Do you want to play like dive comp? But like what is the...
Need to see
Something
enemy comp
graphics.
a bit. I mean, normally I just like to skirmish early if we're stronger and play for objectives. Should be the best and like look for team fights. Yeah,
So,
I think it's fine.
so for me, even here, like we can talk about like the framing, but what Lucas has done here, that's the kind of thing that I would be interested in having you do. So he's not suggesting champions. He's saying like, okay, what kind of things do we want with the Kalista? So as soon as so when they're talking about the champions, you can say, okay, right, we're going to do these bans. We're just going to ban the bug champs, or we're going to ban Ashe so that we don't have to trade. With Ashe and Varus gone, what do we want to first pick? And someone says Victor, and someone says Kalista, and Matty says, no, we can go Kalista. Then you say, right, Kalista will go first pick. Then as the Kalista's locked in, it's like, what kind of comp do you want to build with the Kalista? You don't need to answer anything. And what I'm kind of thinking is that it also will take a lot of the pressure off of coming up with champions when you haven't got to know these players. So you don't know the pools, right? Like you don't need to be answering, but also it's a good situation for us that we're actually in a situation where I think if we just fully let the players do the first couple of games, you will probably end up with very good drafts, which is not common even when you have really good players. Because
and as I'm used to have like way more calm draft, like where players are not talking that much. I usually wait them to like log the first champion and pre-log the second one. To ask this kind of question, because I really know that almost with champions that Kalista, like as Matty said, it can be like an aggro belly laner or full dive in comp.
Yeah, but even if you know the answer, I still want let's try today. You still answer the question because then everyone can hear it. Yeah,
it's just that I used to delay this kind of question.
Okay.
When I see the enemy, like at least first pick. Just so like we don't go on like we've got both sides. We just choose the best. In front of what they pick.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm thinking, and the reason that I wanted to start it like this, because I think it should be different in game 4 and 5, especially with the way that Phyllis is going. But for games 1, 2, and 3, it's like I think it will work best if you're there to facilitate the discussion, but like you can facilitate it in quite an aggressive way, if you know what I mean by that. So, for example, you can say, I think it's completely fine for you to say, if Lucas is about to pick his champ and No Way jumps in with stuff, just say let Lucas pick. Like that, I think is fine. But I would say for the first at least two games, if not 3, I think we can let them be the ones who are fully like suggesting the champions. So like I say, it's like you start off by like setting the frame, and then as soon as they then start to fill it with stuff like, okay, we could first pick Kalista, we could take Victor, we could take this. And then once it's picked, you say, okay, right, we're going to go with the Kalista.
We're going to go with, okay.
And then don't let other people change it once it's locked in. So for me, I mean, we won't get too much into specifics, but like at a certain point, the thing that makes me nervous is when there's like 3 seconds left and we're still deciding between 2 champs. So it's almost like what I would like is for you to try and bring the discussion to a close with at least 5 seconds. We like, okay, because sometimes it'll take a couple of seconds for people to respond to you bringing it to a close, but you don't need to suggest or name champions at all. You just ask the questions and set the framing. So then in this case, we then lock the Kalista, and instantly, even if he doesn't know, ask the question, okay, what do we want to build with the Kalista?
Okay.
Then they start answering stuff. They say, okay, we'll see what they pick. And so then it's like, now they've got Corky, Viego. Okay, what do we want to take? Victor's still open. I mean, that is suggesting a champion, I guess. So maybe even forget that. Once we have a priority list, obviously, like what I'm trying to do is remove the cognitive load from you of thinking of the champions, because I'm trying to put a lot more of the other stuff on you, if that makes sense. So firstly, what do you think about that as like a strategy? Is that something that we can give a try?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. And like I say, on the champion stuff, this is also one of the things that I think is very common when you first start working with players of this level. It's like they're going to have a lot more opinions about the in-game stuff.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely the right thing to do it how you're doing, where it's like, we need to trust their opinions, partly because they're going to have great opinions, but also because like Eric and Lucas, especially, like if they're feeling the champions that they've got, like they perform so well. So we need to make sure that they're getting a good say. But that doesn't...
and
Yeah.
in the end, they are playing the champion, so
Yeah,
they
of
need
course.
to enjoy what they're playing.
Yeah, of course. But that doesn't mean that the other aspect of the coaching things you have to let them control. So like so you're there to like shape the discussion, and I'll tell everyone this, by the way, once we agree on it, and then it's like, okay, right, now they've got Corky, Viego. What are the other power picks? Do we want to secure more power picks? Do we already want to start building the comp? And then Noe can say, well, we can still go Victor, and it's like, great, let's lock Victor. Boom, that one's done. What do we want to take with Victor? You want to take an answer already in the jungle? Or is there a different power pick we want to secure? Because I think in this case, to be honest, if it wasn't Baus, we can go Cassante here and stuff like that. But
I just feel like at this point, I don't know if it's what we've done, but like, at this point, when I see Viego and we already lock Kalista, in my head, like, Renata is ringing so much.
Yeah,
like it's like, but again, Renata.
Even when it's ringing so much, I think for a couple of days, I'd like to just fully remove the champions from you for the first couple of games. And then what we can do is, the other thing that I'd like to do today is I'm going to stop listening to them in comms. I think their comms are really good, so I don't need to listen. And what I'd like to do is, after the draft is done, we'll be in a separate channel. I'll be in a separate channel. And if you can just jump into that channel.
Yeah.
Then we'll chat about it so that we can kind of review it. And I want to make a big part of the focus today the draft. But you don't need to present about the draft again, but we can go through it. And if we'd have missed the Renata here, for example, that would be the perfect case to say, right, okay, we secured the Victor Cassante and they're both super strong, but we missed out on the Renata. Like, what do you think about the trade?
Okay.
But I think, I think this will work really well. So we'll listen to a bit more of the draft as well, and I'll pause and jump into things, and then we'll try the second one. Just so I can give you some more examples. And like I say, with the champions for now, we'll cut it out completely. But with the other stuff, I want you to be more of a presence in the draft.
Yeah.
Because that's the part that worries me when there's 5 seconds left and 3 different people talking. And if you're there to say, okay, with 5 seconds left, like, we'll just let Lucas pick if it's a jungler pick. Or like, okay, like, let's lock that when it's like a few seconds before.
Fine, but depends a bit on enemy champs. If like it's good to pick long range champs to counter their comp, I can just be strong early and then like
the control
kill team fights more.
I think I don't want to pick Sup here. I think Vaya can go Renata though, to be honest. Because they're guaranteed gonna have dive already.
If they go Vi, how do you feel? Like we just had a talk before. How about Amumu?
Yeah, so in that situation, again, obviously, as with everything, like if we're changing the approach, I'm not going to over and over talk about the new approach because, obviously it's going to be different. But even there, like, okay, Renata's a great option. What else could we secure if they go a different jungler? So again, I'm not saying a pick. I'm like just provoking the discussion, because you're right. Like we kind of need people to be focused and we need them to be engaged. Because we're in this weird situation, right, where, like you said at the beginning, you're not really happy with some of the way the draft goes. I've said the same. But actually, like, we've had a much better draft in more games than the opponents that we're playing against. So I'm not happy with how we got there, but we've actually ended up with good drafts quite a lot of the time. Obviously, the ones against Yamato were a bit silly because I think they just let us have all the stuff that we needed. But still,
and I think it's not because the enemy draft is not that good that mine should be like it's not because they are better than they are good.
Yeah. And also it's like, even if we get there, I still don't want us to get there with 0 seconds left, because in a competitive we could end up the other way. So even there, like, as soon as someone suggests a champion, you could even just say, great, what would we build with that? Or especially if it's champion you like, you don't even need to say I like that. Just frame the discussion again, like build that little box.
I was also thinking Amumu.
Just careful of Silas, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think I want to pick Renata here, to be honest.
Renata? I can also, I can pick here, I can go 4-5.
Is it Corky bot for sure, probably, right?
Yeah, most likely.
Closer.
So even, yeah, I can pick here, I can go 4-5. Then it's like, okay, so if we drop jungle, is there anything else to secure?
Yeah, okay.
That's again a great bit
Yeah,
of framing.
So Renata?
So Renata, and
Always
Do we
Victor
want-
possible.
We can go Victor as well, yeah.
yeah, it is a Victor, and then try to do them.
Maokai is also a
There's-
possibility, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That already, what you said, is really good. It's Victor or an answer to the Wukong. And I think that's good.
It's also like triple flex.
So the other thing that you can do is if you are talking more about the framing, it sort of stops other people talk more about the champions. So if in this case you were to say, okay, it's either Victor or an answer to the Wukong, how many answers do you have to Wukong? Now Lucas is the one saying I could do this, this, or this, and as long as he says 3, it's like, well, shall we secure the Victor then, rather than let Frederick talk about the fact that Maokai is a 3-way flex.
Yeah.
Even though actually, I mean, this specific case it is useful, but that's how you talking more, even though you say nothing about champions, will hopefully get them all more focused and them all more like straight on the thing. And we'll see.
If we don't take Renata.
I mean, if we have Victor, we'll want something tanky like top
I mean,
level.
I have plenty of tanks. Like, I
We find
can,
a Victor then? I just
I'm
take
fine
it.
with it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
We can
I mean,
also
it's
do
always
this because
because
there's like
fearless. I
there's
think it's important to take the
Olivers,
Victor too, so we have it, you know.
yeah, that's also obviously like you don't have to point out this kind of stuff. But when someone else points out something that's very useful in the draft, like I think this thing from Eric here is great because it's fearless. Securing early picks like Victor is great. That's also a thing to maybe actually in the draft, maybe don't say anything about it, but that's also another thing where you can just echo something that someone else has said when it's very useful. Just like I think that's a great idea. Yeah, let's make sure we're securing these kind of champs.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. I mean, Vigor's not a tank. Puppy, Amumu.
Oh, Poppy's looking really good here.
Yeah, Poppy is good.
I just assume they're gonna ban Puppy 4-5 else there.
Yeah, vision.
What do you think they're gonna play on bot? I don't
I mean,
think
it should
Kratos
be
plays
something
Blitzcrank now.
for like,
Okay.
I think 40 plus.
Yeah,
like, from
that's
one
something.
value, like,
Like he's writing champion in the chat. I need to maybe tell him. The issue is that they say it, I don't.
Yeah.
So when he's dressing a list like this of things that he
Yes.
can pick,
Yes.
like I'm not aware
Well,
of. Like
yeah.
he's like just saying out, like really not really loud. And
Yeah.
if I've got this thing, then yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, but I think it's very easy for them to write it in the chat because also that means he doesn't need to just keep listing champions. So I think it is actually more efficient. The advantage that we have is that everyone is streaming. Would that be too confusing? We're going to set up.
Yeah, but
for later
sometimes
today.
I've got a little bit of delay with them.
Okay.
So just maybe one of them streaming
Yeah. Okay.
the lobby on,
Okay.
on Discord then.
Oh yeah, yeah. That could be useful. Or the other thing is if you provoke it and say, okay, what tanks do we have in jungle then? Because we said if we have Victor, we need tanks.
also.
And it's like, okay, great. What tanks do we have in jungle? Then we can give him more space to actually say those things. Because
Yeah.
you're right, when other people are talking, it's better for him to be writing, but it's probably better that no one else is talking and he's actually just listing the champs.
Yeah.
And then even here, it's like, okay, even you saying, what do we want to ban 4-5 if this is Syndra? That kind of framing is useful because again, you just need to be like keeping them a bit more focused, basically. Because you're right, you said it in your reflections already. Like it's like there's great stuff coming from them, but it's too much. So so how can we balance it?
Yeah.
I just don't know
What
which
is
like
that?
combo they go for. There's
actually don't know what they
but would you go
play.
Pike? I mean, Pike also.
I think I want to ban
earlier,
the. I want to ban Leona, I think, to be honest.
Why to ruin the win streak? Oh my god, Scott, what are you doing, man? It's true, actually. Maybe I should just lucky invite and choose the game.
I mean, they want to engage and the melee champ, so like Leona, Relban are pretty good. I don't care about Blitzcrank that much here, I think.
Is Nautilus better than one of the two? Or not really? Probably not.
I don't
I mean,
think
it's
so.
like similar to
I
Realm,
think
maybe.
Leona is pretty good ban.
It's
Yeah, I mean, Leona's really
Blitzcrank
tanky,
as
so we
well.
can't really get the reset for the W on her.
Yeah.
If he starts fighting good timing.
What are you looking for in jungle?
So again, that from Chachi is great framing, like to remind. Okay, and what are we looking for in jungle? Again, you leading that stuff would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
You need kind of something.
We'll jump to the next draft, but I think we're already. For me, this would be a great thing to try today. So we don't even necessarily need to keep going with this. But we can talk about games 4 and 5 as well later. But let's look at this one as well and see if there's anything that comes up separately.
Yeah, I feel like this one was good.
So Is
I mean,
anything
also
you
the
want to
very
add?
first games, I think the draft we had was great.
Since
So like,
it's done again, right?
I think the
Double
first
combo
the first one where they had the Velcos and stuff, like I take that draft every day.
I don't really think we want to like take
Yeah,
everything out. No, we just want to
of
see
course.
everything and try to
Something I
play
can change.
everything.
Yeah, it's
So we
pretty
just
obvious
did,
to be honest.
like,
Look at the heal.
champion
Look at the heal.
Yep.
It looks like in my head it looks like a like 62 ability or something like that.
Maybe we need to win something, but otherwise we'll sleep there.
Actually, what do you think about top lane against Baus? Do you think you can play tanks because he will always do like his split push shenanigans?
So that obviously is not that you need to say all this stuff, but that actually is another great framing question. So
Or do you think you need like something more?
it's
aggressive
I think
to,
at this
like,
stage, once we know our
communicate
three
or
bans,
something?
it is fine to let them be talking. But
Yeah,
the other thing to do though is that it's like I think it's useful for them to always know that you're there as that presence in the draft that they can rely on to create that framing. Not that they can rely on for picks, but that they can rely on to know that things are going to be organized. And that's why actually sometimes it's fine to be like talking,
Yeah.
even if you don't have anything to say, but to be asking the right questions. So yeah, it's good to leave space as well, but it's also fine to be there just to be kind of like reminding them almost that you're here. And
Yeah.
like, we're okay, guys. Like, I'm going to lead you through this. You guys are coming out with the champions, but I'm going to make sure that we get them all locked in early enough and make sure that I get the right information from you and like, so that they're calm and collected about it. Because I think when they're like this, I think everyone feels the same way. Like everyone feels like, okay, we've ended up with some really good drafts, but it also feels a bit nervous as we go through it.
It is, yeah. I think so as well. Because
Or
we can,
that
like,
has global. Something like GP Shen can be really good because then I
Yeah,
can back clips there.
Something that can.
Yeah, I think that can be
I think
also
with
really
Ornn,
okay.
you just always have like the problem on the sideline at some point, right? And he slowly gets the turrets and wiggles away and gets tempo.
What am
I
I
think one is very difficult one because we have to be very
Anything
on
to
point.
play last game.
Like basically I will always have to drop base, and then we have to punish special targets that we play.
Yeah.
Because once it's gonna get out of control.
Yeah, you should. I mean, you should have a
You
champion
play really
right
well
with
this
you.
And here already, it's the same with the bans and the picks. Is rather than him asking what do we ban, like when it gets to nearly that like 5-6 seconds left, treat it in
Yeah,
your head
just
like
make a
that's
quick
just say
reminder.
just say yeah, exactly. Remember, we're just
Yeah.
banning stuff that you do in the game, and it's just like even to just remind them on the thing that we agreed on. I think is good.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it's just very risky to go like utility tanks like into both.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean,
Like
we
in the
tried. We
But I
tried.
think
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, also
Let's actually. So okay. So that's what I think. I think we agreed on the first couple.
Yeah.
Lucas had the idea actually, and Eric mentioned the same thing of like the stuff that you were doing, especially early on in game one, where we have like specific things like picked or like planned, like okay, what are we going to do with that? These games 3 and 4 and 5 could be a better place for that. What do you think? Where it's like okay, especially once you've got this
yeah,
list
yeah.
and stuff like that. But it's like okay, so games 1, 2, and 3 is like fully on players, and you're literally just there to. Well, you're still. I mean, don't tell them this, but you're still going to be the most crucial person in the draft because
Yeah.
you're just organising the discussion. But for games 4 and 5, that's where we can start to like cook a little bit more because you can get away with like these weird picks because all the meta stuff is gone.
Yeah, and I feel like, and in this one, it's the forest, I guess. Yeah. This is the draft where I'm not quite happy, because I feel like instead of Zach, there was like a massive Olaf angle. And even if Chachi doesn't play it, I know that Centurion have played it in the past, and even the champion is now not the best jungle in the world. It's still playable, and like against the enemy draft that have like no damage, full CC, and we've got like Morgana to just like give more space than Olaf can have already. It's just like so easy to play. And I came out with the idea maybe too late, and as it was like a bit messy around this, we just end up locking Zach, and I feel like we end up with a draft where if Caitlyn doesn't get ahead, well, we really lack of damage.
Yeah.
And we can't do much thing if Caitlyn is not really ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's listen to it because again,
Yeah,
there's specific points like that, but that for me is the same equivalent as when we're reviewing a game, focusing purely on like, oh, I could have flashed a little bit differently, or I could have, if I aimed this skill shot in a different place.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm also, I think you're completely right, and I think it would have been Smurf, but I'm interested in like how we get there as well. So it'd be an interesting one to hear because this one, I think I was talking to my chat a bit.
See anything?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, what do we want to... Is there anything we want to take out?
What is still there?
What
I
is
mean, Vi is open and now Saya is
Yeah, Galio
open.
still.
Yeah,
There's
Galio's
Caitlyn and
down.
Jin for AD. I want to pick Caitlyn on 1-2 maybe if they...
Yeah, I think
Okay.
they will first pick
Is
maybe
that
though.
even set
Yeah,
up
then I
for
just
this?
Jin though.
If this was
Yeah.
a real tournament, you guys would go 0-3 Omega LoL. How does that make sense?
Dragon is still open for Baus as well, right?
I don't speak that mathematic, brother.
Cho'Gath as well.
But yeah, we're definitely in a...
Rumble is open as well.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
what's it
they'll
called?
ban Rumble's corner.
We're in the learning stages, you know? As
Oh,
a
yeah,
team,
yeah,
so
yeah,
we'll get a lot better quickly.
They might first pick Skarner.
They'll Rumble's corner ban.
I
Okay,
think
but
they'll
then-
Scanner and they'll maybe first pick Vi. If any.
If they pick Skarner, then we got Ivern, I think.
Do we ban Vi here?
Yeah, I can play
pretty
like
good
I can
balance.
play some
Italy.
champs into it too, like
There's
Mumu and all
Fox
that
still
stuff, and Puppy, and yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's probably fine to play versus.
I feel
I
like
ban
we can just
Aurora
pick-
if you guys want.
Aurora?
If you have nothing
I
else.
guess.
I'm done.
Like, let's
Just
I
Lena.
top lane, I would just take a center pop in this game.
I'd rather be
I'm
home.
just really scared of them 1 PV and we go like Caitlyn and shit and they will just play like a dive comp and
Yeah, can we
Exactly,
Morgana
yeah.
jungle then? Like Morgana jungle's cracked in that
yeah,
case.
pretty
so-
good, yeah.
Morgana jungle, okay.
But can
They're going for the Scanner, bro.
So even then, like I think, because it's not like they've stopped offering picks, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think because I, in a sense, it's difficult for you and difficult for them to kind of switch. So the other thing that I was thinking, because we're in a situation where during the games, your primary thing still is going to be the draft and how to change the draft. It's like if you can live cook up some stuff in between the games and then before game 4, in the same way that we had with the Heimlinger, be talking about
Yeah.
it. So like, okay,
Yeah.
as we're coming into the game 4 draft, do you guys want to let them have Skarner so we can take we can
Ivan.
take the Ivan into it? And I know they ban Ivan here, so we ban the Skarner. But then you can just say, okay, right, so we won't ban Skarner. If they ban Ivan, we'll ban Skarner. If not, we'll let them have it. And as soon as someone mentions, I still think actually for today, I'd like to just still stick to the framing thing because I like the fact that someone mentions Morgana Jungle, but it takes far too long for Lucas to get his opinion about Morgana Jungle out. And I think that's where the first step of the problem is for me.
Yeah.
So already here, like this is a bit of a danger sign where someone's suggesting a jungle that they're quite excited about and our jungler hasn't given his opinion on it. And I think he's not going to do it for a while until maybe even after we lock in the chat.
Okay, yeah, let's just ban the Skarner then.
And then they pick Vi.
Yeah, but then we Poppy and stuff. I think we just
Yeah.
play them. We go Poppy Caitlyn and play like an early game comp.
So Skarner out?
Yeah, Skarner out.
Should just go now.
I mean, Champs just OP now.
It's pretty good, bro. It's a little, you know, it's just,
It's pretty decent, yeah.
yeah, it's still good.
Now we
We
go
should
for
just go
Caitlyn.
Kate Poppy, I think.
Kate Poppy.
I think it's fine. Obviously, I need to
Yeah.
play Vi, but I still think it can be good.
I like it, I like it.
They might
What's
go.
the
They'll probably go
carry?
Jin for AD. They'll go Jin. I guess.
So once we have Kate Poppy, like, okay, do we know where Poppy is going? And they'll probably say, no, Poppy is a full flex. And they say, okay, do we hold the flex until we see the top matchup? Or when do you want to decide the flex?
Okay, yeah.
Like that kind of thing I think is useful because people have this thing. I think it's always been a danger for me with flex picks, although I love them, is that you have a flex pick and so you then like put it out of your mind as if like, well, that's the flex pick. And then suddenly there's 3 seconds left and you're like, wait, where's the flex going? Like we also need to be already thinking as soon as we locked in the flex pick, when will we know where it will go? Because we get trapped.
They can kill
Okay,
them.
that's fine. Keep Kate.
I mean, the only other option is I go. We pick something else, and then I just pick Jin and play like.
And then same again, like I think actually with 20 seconds left, maybe it's okay. But it's like, okay, if we have Poppy, Kate, what do we need from the rest of the comp? And you don't need to answer. We just need them to answer.
Yeah.
Back against Vi.
Okay.
But I think Caitlyn should just be.
And probably what we'll end up with, just as a spoiler, is we'll end up with something in the middle. Once you get used to them and they get used to each other and we will get used to the system. But for now, we'll try
I
just
feel like
just
that's good.
fully focusing on framing it.
Yo. We can still flex Poppy and go Mortgage.
Framing it, but then having some full stuff prepared. This opening, maybe we fully prepare this opening rotation because it's kind of obvious, right? So with the junglers now, we'll let them have Skarner. If they ban Ivan, maybe we get rid of we'll get rid of the Skarner. And then if they take Vi, we can open with this.
Wanna play jungle?
I mean, I can play it. It's not hard, but is it good?
It's OP into Vi.
So already we've got 2 picks locked in, one of which might go into the jungle. and now we're finally getting the opinion of the Morgana, which was already mentioned at ban 2.
Yeah.
So that I think is a good thing
yeah, the old
to get.
situation, yeah. But if we're playing like Morgana with...
And also
Top
because
like,
they didn't directly ask him, he doesn't answer in a clear way. He says like maybe in the old situation, you know, and then starts to talk about the rest of the comp. Whereas if you just directly asked him, is Morgana jungle good into Vi? He might say, I don't want to play it. And then it's like so much quicker.
Mid, and is it good?
I mean, normally with Morgana, the reason it's good against Vi is you can like outpace her, I'm pretty sure. Not early game, but when you get some levels.
I mean, I've played this matchup many times. I'm just...
Yeah.
The whole draft has to make sense.
Okay,
Also, my team is
Talia.
just weak.
It's Talia mid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they need
What do
to
you
combo
think,
right now.
We should play like a long range mid here, maybe. If we have any left.
We still have no Vel'Koz is banned, right?
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
working.
it's bugged, so...
they're playing like
if you want to
a
play with the
long
bug, then maybe we can, but...
No, that's just a really big...
Should I not just go like Lux here, or we can maybe even flex Lux mid, no?
Yeah,
And
then
flex, oh, Lux is actually really good, yeah, for me.
yeah, I like it.
It's bad against Vi, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew you guys gonna get dove on. Are you guys fine?
But like, there's nothing I can pick here that's good. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
to
I think
match
that's
aggro with aggro.
What
I'm not
supports
playing-
are open? Nautilus is picked, right? Yeah, there's no Nord.
And again, already here it's like,
bad against
okay,
Vi, though.
so with Kate Lux Poppy, what do we want to ban and what do we need from the rest of our
Yeah, I was
comp?
gonna say, I knew you guys
Those
gonna
two
get dove on.
things.
Are you guys
Um,
fine?
But like, there's nothing I can pick here that's good. Like,
Yeah,
Because I
match
think
aggro with
probably
aggro.
again, like I say, if for now we say focus not at all on picking champions, maybe the Olaf still doesn't ever get suggested. But I think also if you give them the space to, they can start to have that kind of thing. Because
what supports are open?
someone could say at this point, right, Talia, Jhin, Vi, they might lack damage if
Nautilus
they
isn't
go
picked,
2
right?
more
Yeah, there's
tanks,
no Nord.
which they're
No,
not
it's
doing.
not, it's not picked yet.
No, it was top
no,
lane.
maybe not.
No, it
It's
wasn't.
actually-
No, no,
It's
it's up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would just ban Nord then.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
Renata, Leona, Rel, Rakan, Alistar, Lulu.
There's no.
what are we
He will
picking?
play Janna or something, but
Once you have this tool, by the way, it's going to be so smurf because at this stage it just gets so complicated. If
Yeah.
everyone can have access to the list so that they can all on their second monitor have a list of champs that are gone, that's just going to save us so much time.
mid. We should pick mid 4, I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
so.
think so too.
Like
But
a mid or so.
but I think
maybe
most
Lux
likely I
is
should
mid.
play Puppy jungle here, right? Oh.
Sure.
Like, usually playing aggro bot, like, isn't Puppy the best champ? Oh.
I think so. I think Poppy for you is probably part of it. Like,
Yeah.
fix it.
He's like, always match
Double
the Vi.
flex
and he's
Lux
winning.
Morgana.
Do you think he's gonna go for a range support, or I mean, there's
Yeah,
like
but I don't know
Blitzcrank.
what he would play. I
I
think
think
he
that
should play
comp with
Blitz.
Blitzcrank is a bit bad though if they get behind. I mean, if we get hit by Hook,
Would-
it's bad for us.
Would they ever play? No, let me see.
I think he will play like Soraka or Blitz, to be honest, or something like that. Or Karma, maybe.
Senna?
Yeah, John is fine, but not insane. He gets one
I
shot.
meant
So.
Senna.
think-
Or is that
Oh,
the plan?
Senna? No, it's not,
Uh,
not good. I think I just Blitz or Bard ban, maybe.
I think Blitz
Bard
is
probably.
Oh, young man?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But
So here it's like
for me, like
Treats
Blitz-
because he's the one who's banning is the one sort of framing the discussion, whereas I'd rather
Yeah.
it be you. Because as well, like we haven't discussed the fact of what we discussed later, which is that if we have Caitlyn Lux bot, we want them to be a super strong lane, so the Karma ban is good.
Yeah.
Obviously they could do it on Jhin Bard or something, and there's other problems, but we want to just have that power
I
lane.
think if we play good, it actually should not be that good because it's like kind of a bad combo with Vitalia and like gives
So-
weak early lane.
Just to agree, where goes the Lux?
I think it's mid, no?
I just don't know
Is
what to play on Soup. No way.
I mean, you
I
can
don't
play
know
the
what to
Morgana
play.
yourself.
Holy
Like,
shit, I'm running
Morgana.
about
I can actually play Morgana mid as well if you want.
Yeah, I'm done. We
Then
can
I'm not
just
gankable, then we have
pick
Morgana
Morgan, we can
But we need like
flex it
60
kind
or
of.
something top.
We should
Yeah,
carry top if we have more good though.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but as long as we got the F5, I think it's fine.
I think
Let's
mid
try
is
it.
actually kind of good here,
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
try
it's a
it.
bit like
we
different
can wave
vibes,
clear.
but-
I quite like the Morgana mid here as well. Like I think this is good.
Yeah.
I think we can get here a little bit quicker if you just to focus purely on the framing. But still, I think it's good. So here already it's like, okay, now we've got this. What do we need from R5? Okay, R5 needs to be a carry. Okay, does it need to be a carry top or can we have a carry in the jungle? And that kind of thing.
I mean, that's like really season
Yeah.
1 shit.
I was about to let me quickly check when it came out. Yeah, it's-
Yeah, when is the champ
yeah,
released?
2009. Okay.
The only other pick I was thinking about is Lissandra here, but
What about Swain? Is it bad?
I think Swing.
Swain is actually kind of smart, yeah.
But doesn't
So here already, like I don't care that they're thinking as well about Swain or stuff like that. We need to think about what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So like even like okay, if they take the Karma, what does that change? And they say, okay, well, we don't have as strong a lane bot. Do we need to make sure we're winning the 3v3? In which case, what can we take on R5 to win the 3v3 or something like, you know, those kind of questions. Because here, I actually like what we've got here and I like how we ended up here mostly. I think we can get there a little bit better, but I like how we ended up. But it's literally just the fact, to be honest, the fact that we spent 20 seconds chatting about this
Isn't the lane a bit?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, don't you get like outranged?
and we're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Swain's lane versus Talia. We've not got Swain. We've got Morgana.
Yeah,
So like,
Didn't you tell AW always? Kind of.
Maybe actually.
And also, okay, if they lock Karma, we still want the Morgana mid. I mean, we do, but let's pretend that we could undo the flex too. You know, like because we do have that double flex.
Just get 100 to 0 one shot, yeah.
Yeah. Karma.
You don't have to ask stupid questions if you don't don't want to.
Yeah, I just think like when like I just ask them where goes the Lux. We decide that she goes support. We decide that we go Morgana mid for the Talia matchup.
Yeah.
Then I think we just don't need to spare more time on this. Even if they
exactly.
pick Karma,
Yeah.
we agree that our lane gonna be Caitlyn Lux.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I should just get focused on what should be our last pick.
The only thing is if they go like Blitzcrank and they for some reason fuck up and they think it's definitely Morgana mid. That's all. But you're right. As soon as the Karma locks in, you're right. Like Karma's shit's on Lux. I mean on Morgana. So it's focused on the last pick in terms of like, okay, what do we want from our last pick? Make sure we're already discussing this. People have said we want a carry. Okay, does the carry have to come from top or can the carry come from jungle? Because I think the fact that we thought the carry had to come from top was the reason that we didn't end up with the Olaf. But we'll see how the rest of it plays out.
Veigar was maybe an option.
And like now we're talking about Swain and Veigar. And,
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
With their comp is not like that insane.
I mean, they just want to play for priority and
You want to take that?
We could have, yeah, Seraphine could be okay for us.
Wait, it's Vi top.
It's Baus Vi.
Yo,
Okay, yeah, and that's another thing that confused.
Yeah.
Is that the fact that the Amumu Vi, where like which champion goes where?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it will obviously happen against Los Retinans again.
But here, this is the part I think where we get to the pick that you're talking about while you just framing, because if we're already thinking here, we haven't wasted a minute talking about mid lane matchups that aren't going to happen. We are instead talking about what we need, and also we know the carry can be in the jungle or top lane. Then as soon as Santorin here says,
I don't know when you play Sachi, but like how is Olaf?
Olaf, because everyone is in the mindset of this carry has to come from top lane. And you're right, it could have just come from jungle.
Yeah.
So no one mentions, wait, we could just take Olaf when you play at jungle. So then it's
I think that's what I asked, but
but it's already like...
it's already too late.
And it's also, this is the other thing, is that like you have to be the one to suggest it. Whereas if you frame it, then everyone already is thinking that. And to be honest, he already just says probably, lock me Olaf here. If we already know that the carry can be in the jungle as well, we've got Morgana, Lux. You're right. Like Olaf jungle here, I think is better than Olaf top, to be honest. Like it's insane. Like every lane is ridiculously hard to play, and also it makes the 3v3 bot much better. Right? Like this is
the 3v3 bot is like painful for them to play.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think.
I can just go either pop it up or GP top or Gwen.
But we're still waiting.
Olaf look insane here as well.
10 seconds.
Oh, you don't play.
Do you play it in the jungle?
Do you want jungle?
So here, with 3 seconds left, you're the first person who realizes. But we could have been asking when we locked Morgana.
When we lock Morgana, if the carry can from the jungle.
Exactly. And again, it's nothing to do with you suggesting the pick. It's just in that.
It's just me framing the thing.
And I'm pretty sure you don't even have to do anything. Santorin's like, Olaf is insane here. Do you play it top, Chachi? And he says no. And you said, well, I can just play it jungle. And then we just slam Olaf. And not only do we get the Olaf, we also probably get it with 30 seconds left. Okay, awesome. So for today, what we'll do is we'll do this thing of framing. I'll talk about it a little bit. And explain, because I want them to, I think it's just clearer to come that way, because we might change it again in the future. We might change it back to you doing more stuff around the champion specifically. And then after each draft, we'll jump into a different channel. I'll stay in the other channel. If you want to then leave and listen to them when we're done with our discussion, that's fine, because I'll basically stay. We'll have a chat about how you felt the draft went in terms of the process of it. We can also have a chat about specifics to plan for future, if you want, for future drafts, as in like 4 or 5 with these things. But the great thing will be is that once we get used to drafting with Fearless, the enemy coach is going to be looking at the game to see what they want to review. But because I can do that and you can just do the draft, you can spend time after game 2 and 3 saying, okay, look, actually, there's this weird combo here now. Because these champs are gone, we could actually do something like this and this. Which will help them as well. But I would still say for 4 and 5, I think these players just really need a good, solid frame to
Yeah.
build these drafts because they get too. There's just too much going on,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not focused enough. Okay, cool. So do you have any other questions about that?
No, pretty clear.
No. Awesome. Right.